grading, attendance, curriculum, report cards, standardized testing. Educators, our plates are full. But social emotional learning should not be just one more thing on your plate, because social emotional learning is the whole plate. It is not a program or a package. It is the relationships that we build between students and educators. And it takes hard work to build relationships. So here are 5 simple things you can do to set the table well with P is for preparation. Putting thought into how you structure your classroom day so you can elevate and engage every student, greeting them at the door, thoughts for the day, number talks, global projects, greeting them at the end of the day with gratitude and reflection, making sure that you structure your daily routines and your weekly and long-term calendars and find multiple ways to create and convey those to your students and their families, because that way, if you do it digitally, it's available 24/7 and it's not going to get lost in the back of the bottom of the backpack. Horrible thing to happen. Now, if you do that kind of preparation, your students and families will feel comfortable, and that is vital to SEL, because comfort, when they are comfortable and they're not worried about what, when, and where things are due, they can focus on the learning. L is for listening. Everyone wants to be listened to, and when we listen, we can provide flexibility and empathy. Mrs. Dunbar, can we do breakouts in breakout rooms? Great idea, let's do it. Mrs. Dunbar, can we write an article for the local newspaper on our canned food drive we're doing for the global project? Students asking me if they can write something? Yes, please. Mrs. Dunbar, can we create a QR code for our Minecraft world that goes to our literacy program, for the Sustainable Development Goals? Absolutely, because now you're going to learn that a QR code is 27 by 27 and you'll have to draw it out on graph paper. Priceless. And when a student has a bad day and cuts up the knotted yarn of his key-poo counting rope, take a moment to listen and read between those cut lines of yarn. Everything gets better when you listen and show empathy and compassion. A is for accessibility. We must use every technology available and necessary to elevate learning. And don't forget, there are old technologies that are just as useful. This past year, I had a blind student. I combined old technology, a brailer, which was invented 75 years ago to type out braille on paper, with reading progress, which is an AI technology to measure fluency. We were able to measure Angelina's fluency through her fingers, not her eyes. But what we could not measure was the joy that she felt at being included in using the same technology and the same stories that her fellow classmates were using. And accessibility means you have to be accessible too. So make certain there are multiple ways that students and families can get a hold of you. Don't be surprised if they call you at 10 o'clock at night, but a late call is better than no call at all. Just remember to respond in a timely fashion and with kindness. T is training. How are they going to know how to use all the technology we have in the classroom if we don't train them? So take those first few weeks of school to train your students in the technologies you will use, record sessions so they can refer back to it at a later date, and train families, hold online sessions to train them. Why? Because if you train parents in how to access the curriculum, the homework, and you are much more likely to see student success, because there's someone at home who knows what's due, when it's due, and how to ask Mrs. Dunbar if it is turned in. Also, I'm really excited for all the teachers that came to ISTE this week. Continue your training as a teacher. Seek out educators, podcasts, films, conferences that will help you stay fresh, invigorated, and ready to serve. E is excitement and enthusiasm. Have you noticed that when you greet a student at the door and you're excited to see them, they're excited to learn? Model what you expect, because kids don't learn from people they don't like. And celebrate failures as much as you celebrate successes. And follow your passions. My alter ego, Dr. Dunbar, comes into class every second day of school and lights carbon paper on fire. Will she burn down the school, or will she teach the scientific method? Craft memorable moments for your students so they know there is joy in learning. We in California's Great Central Valley have a saying: the best fertilizer is the footsteps of the farmer. We have to put in the work to cultivate a classroom of caring and compassion where everyone is comfortable because they know what's expected and how to ask if they don't. With plates made of preparation, listening, accessibility, training, and enthusiasm, we set the classroom table with strong connections to our students and families so they know that all are welcome and everyone will be served and celebrated. I'm Tammy Brecht Dunbar from Manteca, California. It's been my pleasure to chat with you today.